Mo and I have been covering this over the past, it feels like past several years at this point, and I forced him to watch it. But we've reached the end. We did it, Muller. We did it, and now he's probably going to get free dibs to, like, you know, inflict torture upon me. But yeah, we got to the end of The Last of Us season 2, and it's over now. So I feel pretty good about that. It seems like the audiences aren't, though, because apparently the finale is down 30% from the beginning of the season,
and they had everything to work with that opening. You know, the numbers. So it's you could almost like definitely track it to the audience are not happy with the events of the story. Which shock, horror! Who could have thought? It can't hit you anymore.
The memories still hurt.
I thought that once I was done with the game, but here we are.
Yeah, well, that's they find new ways to come back and haunt you. I might not force you to watch season 3 when it comes out because, you know.
All right, someone clip that, please.
I said I might not force you. I might still. It depends if you anger me or not.
Oh, God.
But my God, what a horrendous season! I don't think I've seen possibly any show fall from grace so quickly. No, this was worse.
What?
This was worse. Like
Arcane was like season 1 was fucking like 10 out of 10, then season 2 was like 1 out of 10.
Yeah, but I think people were slower to you know get on the uptake for that. They were slower to turn against, whereas this was dramatic.
They had a warning with this one though, because they were adapting one of the worst fucking game stories ever. So you know, people. Yeah,
but I think a lot of people, like a lot of normies, either hadn't played the game or they didn't want spoilers, so they stayed away from it. And so it was a whole new generation of people that got bitterly disappointed by what they did.
Yeah, the TV show audience, those poor fuckers, they didn't know what was coming.
Episode.
Yeah, and this has been so dramatic. Wow. Yeah, I think now that we've got to the end of it, I can look back on it and just say they actually did worse than the game. They told this already bad story in a worse way than the game did, even. And I think that's genuinely impressive.
They did actually miss some stuff from the game that made it make more sense. I can't believe those are words that are coming out of my mouth. There we are.
Yep. Performance-wise, vastly inferior to the performances that they got out, the voice actors, the motion capture and stuff for the games. In terms of how things were laid out, the game actually made more sense. So I can't believe that. They might have actually raised the profile of Last of Us Part 2, the game, just by virtue of being terrible.
So, like, famously in the game, when she goes to kill Abby, she ends up killing a pregnant lady. And, like...
Yes.
If anyone has seen my playthrough of it live, I like had Joker laughs. I was so just beyond, like, I couldn't believe the misery porn I was watching. Like, oh, she accidentally killed a pregnant lady when trying to kill someone else after killing thousands of people. I was just like, yeah, okay, like that's what we're doing. Fine, you know what? There's nothing meaningful to be had here. In this one, though, that happens, but the girl lasts, like, she's alive long enough to try and direct her through doing like a cesarean, but it doesn't complete. I was just like, why are you making this even more like disgusting? And
it doesn't, it's not like it doesn't complete. Ellie doesn't even try. She's just like, no, I don't want to do this. And then the woman, the poor woman dies, and that's it. It's like the game was impactful enough just with Ellie killing her, and then like pulling aside the jacket and then realizing, oh shit, she was pregnant. I just killed a pregnant lady. That's awful. And that was, it wasn't the worst way you could have done it. It's still a horrible thing to put in the game, but like it wasn't the worst way of doing it. The show was just so dumb and so over the top and so melodramatic. It lost all the impact. It just became silly.
Did you know that they didn't adapt the part where she kills the dog because Craig Mazin said that would be too misery porny?
Ha.
Like, are you serious? We can't be doing that. We can do the other stuff.
Unbelievable.
I torment the audience, he said.
They did the whole conversation gets interrupted when someone's made a really good point that the writers don't know how to get around.
Yeah.
When Ellie's arguing with is it Jesse his name is?
Yeah. Who gets the same ending as the game.
Yeah, he just insta kill. But like his whole thesis is like, I try to put other people first. Like I know I'm going to become leader of the settlement when the current leader retires and stuff. Like that's kind of what I'm being brought up for. and I'm trying to do right by my community. And she's like, oh, fuck you. You're always so about your community. Like, I tried to save a random person that we've never met before from getting killed, which absolutely would have got both of us killed if I'd gone through with it, but I don't care about that.
Yeah.
And then he points out, like, yeah, you know what? Like, I've done the right thing, or I've tried to as much as I could, and that resulted in me saving your life. What do you think about that? And before she can even answer, wouldn't you know it, they get interrupted by a radio broadcast because they'd run into a brick wall. The writers had run into a brick wall where she had no answer for him.
Well,
they couldn't resolve that scene.
He was fast becoming like a favorite character, which, by the way, takes one step on the ladder in order to become that in this show. But the fact that he said, like, I'm a father now, like, I need to survive. It's important because, not only for taking care of Jackson, but also my son that no one told me about, in theory, or my child. Not only for... Whoa.
Ooh.
Hi, that was me. Anyway, so listening to him make all of those appeals, and then for her to say, like, fuck the community, like, fuck all the people back in Jackson. Oh, okay. This is a really quick way to make me like her even more.
She's genuine horrible person, and she gets even more horrible over the course of this show.
I really want to meet the person who wrote it such that she tries to say that, like, we desperately must save that random Seraphite person, even though it would get us killed, but we don't need to care about anybody in the home of the people that take care of us. It's just like interesting math there. I don't know how they want me to feel about it.
I mean, yeah, because you kind of, like, if you want to put yourself into that situation, right, you probably are going to be oriented around your community, right? They are the people around you, your tribe, basically, that you're loyal to. They're going to watch your back. You're going to watch theirs. Okay. And that's the building blocks of trust and how you build your world. You're not going to sacrifice your life to save a random person that you've never met before, who you've got no idea what their allegiances are, what their worldview is, anything like that. So the idea that, like, putting your community ahead of some other person that you've never even met before, with no chance of success, and that somehow makes you a worse person than Ellie, like, that's absurd. But that's the logic that this show operates on. Like, it doesn't challenge it in the slightest.
You mentioned as well, like, the way the conversations work. I thought it was really funny when it's like she finally reveals why Joel did what he did to Dina. All she tells her is they were going to use me for a cure, and so he killed them all. And Dina's like, I was like, no follow-up questions? No, you don't want to be like, what? He killed them all? Really? What were they doing? Why would he do that? That doesn't sound like Joel. Why would he just kill people who suggest that you should be used for a cure? What does it mean to use you for a cure? Like, every question you could imagine. She's like,
Yeah.
Once again, it just feels like there's several times where they try and double down desperately on the whole Joel was a dick, Joel was wrong, Joel. It's like, yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Gary, I know that you're pretty much out of time here.
Sorry. I was going to contribute so much to this Last of Us conversation.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of why I left this until the end.
But hey, thanks for having me on. Sorry I got to bail out early. Lots to do, but I appreciate being on. Hail, Mark. It's great seeing you again. Guys, have a great day. Hail to the chat, and we'll see you later. Take care.
Thank you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
Do you know, I'll need to scoot off for a wee second as well. We just get in from London. I ran ahead of the family. You know, like, I felt like I cowered on the Titanic. I left the family at the train station and ran all the way home. So I've got to put the kids to bed in a wee minute. But I just want to say thanks very much. Have you done the Harry Potter chat? Have you guys done a Harry Potter chat already?
We haven't yet. No, we can.
Before I disappear, can I tell you a weird thing? See the wee guy who's playing Harry Potter, the new post-Daniel Radcliffe guy?
Yes.
He was in my kids' school the year ahead. So weirdly, I knew Harry Potter. It's the strangest thing.
Well, there you go.
A wee regular guy. As far as I knew, he wasn't an actor, and this wee guy is just suddenly Harry Potter. How awesome is that? My kids are really put out. Totally put out. They want to be Hermione and all that. And I was like, it doesn't work like that. You know, just because you kind of knew the guy who played Harry Potter.
Yeah. But no, I want to say thank you, Mark, for coming on tonight.
No, it's all great to see you guys. Thanks for having us. And I'll hope to see you again.
Absolutely. And I wish you the best of luck with your Kickstarter.
I'm not quite sure where it links, if whatever, you know, if you go to my website, if you just type my name in, it'll pop up at some point, you know. So, like, I hope you enjoy it, anybody who backs it. And all the best.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Later, guys. Good night, then.
See you, man.
Thank you. Should we start
So
ranting
cool.
about
It's
Last
like-
of Us again?
Sure.
I was gonna say it's so cool because like that's the first time in my history of doing this YouTube thing where I'm like literally surrounded by things because I have comics everywhere, as anybody who follows me knows. Literally surrounded by things by someone was written by someone that was on the panel, which was really fucking cool.
That is pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What were we discussing there?
Last of Us 2 dog shit.
Take your pick.
That's
Yeah.
pretty much it, wasn't it? Garbage.
Uh,
Absolute garbage. She's got a Moonface McGee. Awful actor. Why did they pick her? She's insufferable. They had a terrible decision to go from terrible decision to hire Pedro Pascal if you were going to continue down the path of the games, because you've got your archetypal character of insufferable woman, and then you have your not insufferable woman, but insufferable individual, someone sort of stony face and stuff, and then you have your softened character who, you know, Pedro Pascal, Joel softened us to what's her face, Bella Ramsey, and then you just murder him. And I've never played the game, so I don't know if this is the same in the games, but you murder our softened character who, you know, softens us to our other alternative lead, and then you just immediately replace him with some lesbo who no one cares about at all.
That's
then
basically what the
Dare
game
you?
does.
She was famously an Alien Romulus.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, but she then becomes our softened character, so we don't hate Ellie so much. It's like, right, but I don't care about this character. I've just had a whole season with Joel. This is really dumb narrative. This is really dumb writing. This is dumb. Like, and I know it happened in the game, but I don't know if they immediately swapped them out for the lesbian
Pretty much.
to be our point of view character. They're so bad. That's terrible writing. It is
Well,
exactly what you'd expect from a moron with
Yeah, and the
subversive
thing is-
nonsense.
Like, at least with Ellie and Joel, they could spark off each other because they had they were different ages, different perspectives on life. You know, the
It works.
conflict and interesting drama between them. Ellie and
It's
Dina
also a
kind of like
father-daughter
smile at each
role
other.
as well, right?
What's that?
It's also a father-daughter role as well, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
But what they've replaced it with is just the most insipid and boring of gay romances, where they're just so nice to each other. There's
There's
so
nothing to talk
supportive.
about between them.
Yeah, they've got nothing going on. There's no drama. There's no conflict. They don't spark off each other in any interesting ways. They have roughly the same perspective on everything. Even the game did it slightly better in that
Mhm.
Ellie was like hyper focused on revenge. She was just like willing to risk everything for it. Dina was the one always trying to like pull her back from the brink a little bit. She was trying to be like the moral compass. So there was something there, at least. It wasn't much, but it was something. The show doesn't even have that.
It's like
They're
the
just basically the same person.
I was gonna say it's like the personification of all those things that we ever say. You know, people who are their entire personality is their sexuality. That's basically what's going on in show form.
I think it was Echo Chamberlain who talked about this once, right? He defined it as gay exceptionalism in media, right? Where like any gay romance has to be portrayed as the most loving, pure, perfect, beautiful like romance where like both parties are just super nice to each other at all points. Like they're so well adjusted, they agree on everything, they're supportive of each other. There can't be any hint of like toxicity or drama or negativity or anything. And so the
Completely
result is
disregard. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were.
yeah, well, the result is two people that are just boring as fuck. Like, there's nothing there to get invested in as a drama because there is no drama between them. And
I was
so
going
they
to say
might as well-
completely disregard the fact that lesbians have the highest divorce rate of all couples.
Well, sure, but I mean, you can go beyond that to just like get two people together who have different perspectives on the world, right? And then they can argue and they can, you know, put forth different ideas, different perspectives, different worldviews, and it gives the audience something to chew on. It drives the story forward. Maybe they disagree about how they should approach problems or whatever. It's something. That's the essence of what getting to different characters together means. But you can't even have that. And so it's just boring as fuck to watch them. They've got nothing interesting to say to each other.
It feels weird too because the way they've connected and adapting all of the bigger moments of the game feels strung together really incompetently, like we said in the last episode, where they go from the forest getting shot in the leg, that sort of stuff, and then through a door, and it's into the payoff where she kills the that girl with the spores and everything. It's just like, oh yeah, we got to do that now. And it's just like, okay. This one especially, I was looking at the time and I was like, wait a minute. So we got to do the payoff where she kills all of Abby's friends. We got to get her all the way back so that then Abby can kill all of her friends. And I was like,
that is speed run.
Yeah,
in that
it's
final
crazy.
That's
It's
in
like
the
a
last 10
montage.
minutes. Yeah. Oh God.
Well, they're probably.
performances are-
I'm guessing. I was gonna say, I'm guessing that the third season will just be from the perspective of
It's Abby. It's all Abby.
Yeah, I mean, I had a theory. I don't forget which show I was on when I said this. But my theory was that when all this was being determined and they were signing all the deals, to make this into a show, was probably relatively the same time the second game was coming out, and they expected the third game to be a thing, so they signed on for a third season, expecting there to be more material, and we all know where that went.
I think
now they
more
have to split it.
I think they were happy enough with the narrative arc of it, but they were so convinced that people were just going to lap it up that they thought, okay, we can split this over multiple seasons because the game is that damn good. And
well,
so
look how far up its own ass it is with the end, right? So to be clear, can we show, by the way, I would like to, the how bad the cut to black is.
Yeah.
Because I think people should see it 'cause it is so atrociously, awfully edited. But after it's done, we fade back in and we see the first scene of Abby's side of the story, so to speak. And she walks out and you see a whole area in the football field or whatever it is, and it says Seattle, day one.
Yeah.
And the show is like, whoa, we're going back in time. We're going to see her time. And I just said you may have misunderstood your audience again. Like, who the fuck cares about this woman's whole story for a season?